The United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You must answer. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Oh, yes. What's going on? What's happening, everybody? It's the Ron Kelly Show, and it's on broadcasting live on the Ron Kelly Show YouTube channel and, of course, on Facebook. We'll talk about the Facebook shutdown. We'll get to that in just a few minutes, but thank you, everybody, for joining me. Welcome on in. It's October the 7th, and the weather's still nice. It's still very nice out there. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Mr. Ron Kelly Show. Shout out to MB Bell, who's having a birthday today. Happy birthday, brother. Best wishes for you to have many, many more. Shout out to my Fume crew, Steph, DP, Marsh, Dex, Sean, Dave, Lenny, Double R, Frank, Al, AJ, rather. All my people over there at Fume. I'm not going to give you the address until they sign an agreement, but Fume Cigar Lounge in Montclair, New Jersey. Sorry if I missed anybody, by the way. Okay, so Vice President Harris will be here tomorrow, and the traffic's going to be a nightmare. She's coming to Montclair, and you can see some activity going on and people getting ready, preparations being made for the Vice President's arrival here in Montclair. So she's coming to our town. So welcome, Madam Vice President, and don't stay too long because the traffic is going to be a complete nightmare. Not sure why she's coming, but welcome anyway. So I get to COVID. We'll talk about that a little bit. Also, Facebook was down. Now, Facebook was down. I didn't even know Facebook was down. Somebody told me that Facebook was down, but I'll get to that in just a minute. But I need to let you guys know that the views and opinions expressed here on this program are exclusively those of myself and R. Kelly Media Enterprises, LLC, and are not those of my advertisers or anyone who works to support my show. So let's make that abundantly clear. The views and opinions expressed here are exclusively those of myself, Ron Kelly, and my media company, R. Kelly Media Enterprises, LLC, and not those of my advertisers or anyone else. They are simply mine. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining me this evening. We got a lot to talk about. Wow, it's just crazy. The COVID battle, the battle to get people vaccinated rages on, and it's just a mess. It's a mess. Only in America, where we are regulated and we're regulated and we are told what to do from the time we walk out of our door. But oh no, I'm not going to take that vaccine. So we'll get to that. And also we'll talk about the COVID that's leaked into the NBA. And I wonder why there's no problem with it. I guess because football games are being played outside. But what about the dome stadiums and stuff like that? Why are there no mandates? We'll talk about that as well. But let me get back to Facebook down. Facebook was down. And some of y'all was freaking out. I'm sure some of y'all, you know who you are. The face hooked folks who put every thought that passes through their brain onto their Facebook page. And I used to be like that. I had to learn how to use Facebook. I had to learn because people get tired of looking at you. If you're on there every 5 seconds, people are like, oh, here she goes again. Here he goes again. Oh, my kid is going to be a star. It's people. Here's the thing. Mark Zuckerberg, who created Facebook, he knew that everybody wants to be relevant. Everybody wants to be relevant. Everybody. There's a handful of folks on this planet who don't Well, actually, there's a lot of people who don't are not on Facebook. People who don't have the facilities, who don't have Wi-Fi, people who don't have computers or smart devices or whatever you want to call them. And so there's about 3 billion people. 3 billion, that's billion with a B, people who are on Facebook. And everybody, and just about everybody on Facebook wants to be relevant. And like I said, I had to learn how to use Facebook because I used to do the same thing. I went to the gym, put it on Facebook. If I was eating, put it on Facebook. You want to see my plate? Put it on Facebook. Picture after picture after picture, put it on Facebook. But I had to learn how to use Facebook, and I learned how to use Facebook by watching other people. By watching other people post incessantly, driving on Facebook, and which is extremely dangerous to drive while you're on Facebook Live because you're not focusing on the road. And so I know there's some people out there who are freaking out because Facebook has turned into kind of and this was Mark Zuckerberg's angle all along. Facebook is addictive. Shout out to Dr. Susanna Flores, who I used to do a show with, who wrote a book called Face Hooked, which I did read. And it talked about how Facebook has been so ingrained and so integrated into people's lives that you just can't get away from it. So, so Facebook was down, and I know there was a lot of people. There was a lot of people who were freaking out because Facebook had went down earlier this week. Now, I didn't even know that Facebook had went down until somebody called me and told me. Because I don't post that much on Facebook, even though I probably should post more because I do have a reason on my radio show and all. But I don't post on Facebook that often because people get tired of looking at you. Your face is every time you scroll through the speed through the news feed, you see the same face 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And to be honest with you guys, I've had to put people to sleep. I'm like, oh God, I can't take this. Because you see the same people posting picture after picture after picture. Whatever they do, I'm getting my car. Look at this. I'm at the gym. I'm here. I'm there. And again, I used to do the same thing. I did the same thing that everybody else did. But I had to learn how to use Facebook. You see, because when you overreaching, people just be like, well, you again? And I had to learn how to use this platform. So I may post once or twice a day, but I used to post my food and every waking thought that I had, I would post it on Facebook. I wanted to be a philosopher. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be that. But see, but people know you. So you go on Facebook and you're portraying yourself as probably something. People know you and people know me. So, I have to be real. I have to let I don't have a Facebook. I don't have a Facebook persona. I am who I am. And I'm the one who says all the things that other people won't say because that's who I am. Shout out to Sheila Johnson who laughed. I'm not sure if she's laughing at me or or laughing with me or laughing at me. Shout out to Jimmy Williams. Jimmy Williams, my brother, messaging me on Facebook Messenger, and I can't really read it right now, but shout out to you, my brother. In any case, welcome everybody. It's the Ron Kelly show. So yeah, so hey, do you, but everybody wants to be relevant, and back to that. And this guy, Mark Zuckerberg, seized upon that. And this is why Facebook is so popular, because everybody wants to be relevant. Everybody, well, including me, on my radio show. Everybody wants to be relevant. Everybody wants to be relevant, recognized, adored, liked, followed, and that's what it's all about these days. Like how many likes you got, how many followers you got. So if you don't have a whole lot of likes, people be like, you ain't got no likes, you ain't nothing. And people are judged by their likes and follows these days. Anyway, shout out to Sheila Johnson, who's watching the Ron Kelly show. Thanks so much for your indulgence with me here on the program. So okay, yeah. So yeah, okay. I got a little vapor out there. It's already 10 minutes past the hour. Wow. This hour is going quick. Okay, so how to piss enough of your Facebookers off. So anyway, so we get to COVID. COVID, so the battle to get people vaccinated like is raging on, and it spilled over to the NBA because in the NBA, in their cities where there's a vaccine mandate, you have to be vaccinated in order to enter a building. Like in New York, in order to go to Madison Square Garden, you have to be vaccinated. Restaurants, theaters, any indoor facility, you have to be vaccinated in order to go in. And this is like this vaccination mandate and these type of things are ripping the country apart right now because people are getting fired. People are losing their jobs because of their refusal to take the vaccine. So people are actually losing their jobs. And some people are choosing to lose their jobs in order to make a statement, make a point. And I do understand the confusion because every time you turn around, there's a different, there's a different message coming from the Centers for Disease Control, the National Institutes of Health, Dr. Fauci, and others. And you see the constant roulette wheel of doctors who are on some of these cable news shows and they're giving their opinion on what should be happening. So there's a lot of confusion. And this is the problem with the COVID situation. There's a lot of confusion. There are people who say, "Oh, I'm all right. I didn't get sick. The COVID's been out for a year and a half and nothing happened to me and I didn't take the vaccine. So, why should I take it?" And then you have the misinformation with Nicki Minaj, for example, said her cousin's nuts fell off or something like that. And he became up sterile when he took the vaccine. I mean, see, this is the stuff, it's on Facebook and other platforms. Now, Facebook is trying to keep it down. They're not going to be able to, and then they have to notice it. So you can put something on Facebook that's not supposed to be there, and it might be there for an hour or so before Facebook realizes that there's something on there that doesn't belong because there's 3 billion people. How do you manage 3 billion users at once? And so it's the misinformation, what people are saying. I've just heard it last night. I hear it all the time from people because people talk to me as they know I'm a radio personality. And they talk to me, people send me stuff and to get me to talk about it. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But there's a lot of confusion with the vaccine, a lot of misinformation. People are spreading falsehoods, for lack of a better word, falsehoods about the vaccine. And some of it, and what has happened with the COVID situation is that the vaccine it's become political now. So it's been the Republicans and the white folks, conservatives, are the ones who are going to the school board meetings and cursing people out and cursing out doctors and et cetera, because the doctors are telling people to use to take the vaccine. So, it's a mess right now. It's a mess because the richest country in the world, credit wise anyway, I'll get to that later. And there's plenty of vaccine to go around. There's enough vaccine to inoculate the 330 million Americans in this country 3 or 4 times over. Plenty of vaccine that we have here. People don't want to take it. When in Africa and some places like that, they're starving for the vaccine. People are willing to take it, and they don't have enough. But in the land of plenty, the United States of America, there's plenty of vaccine, but our people just don't want to take it. And like I said, I get it. You know, it was a personal choice for me. I decided to get the vaccine because, there was a confusion, but I did know there was one thing for sure is people were dying. You know, people are still dying. I lost a friend a couple weeks ago who was, peace to my brother Al Elliott, who was a young guy in his 40s and who passed on from the, from the COVID. I don't know if he took the vaccine or not. But yeah, so it's a mess. It's a real mess. And some people are for it, some people are against it. And again, the misinformation, because, you know, when you look at the COVID, does anybody know that where the person got it at? See, that's the one thing. AIDS and some other stuff, you can kind of track that and say, well, I was with this person or that person. But with this COVID vaccine, if you get it, you're not going to know where you got it from. It could have been anybody, you know, or maybe you got it, you didn't get it the conventional way, they say, through droplets, because that part I really don't understand myself. So there's no way to really confirm how a person gets COVID. And so that's just part of the confusion. And people are just against it no matter what, like the Republicans and the conservative folks. So yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. I took it, you know, and I made a decision to take it based on the science and not based on what I heard, because I hear a lot of stuff, and I just be like, are you serious? So so it's a mess. It's a mess. COVID's going to be around for years and years and years. When we're all gone on to the great beyond, COVID will still be around, you know. And it's sad that it's come up this way, you know. So like I was saying about the NBA, Los Angeles and New York are the two cities that have a COVID mandate, a vaccine mandate, I should say. So superstars like Kyrie Irving can't even practice because he doesn't want to take the vaccine. Now, I'm not knocking him. He doesn't want to take it. That's his, that's his choice. So it'd be one thing if you decided that you didn't want to take the vaccine and whatever happens to you because you didn't want to take the vaccine. That'd be one thing. But the problem is that the chance of infecting somebody else, and it's back to what I said earlier, we really don't know how people get affected. We really don't know for an absolute certainty how people get infected. You don't know. I mean, they say the droplets. I mean, somebody sneezes and 5 minutes later, the sneeze is still hanging around. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, like, so if I'm going by the coffee pot or whatever at 7-Eleven and I sneeze and then I leave but my sneeze is still floating around the place 5 minutes later, that just doesn't make sense to me, you know. And so everybody has well, that doesn't make sense. I still took the vaccine, but everybody has their reasons for not taking it. So if you don't want to take it, that's on you. 19 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back with more of this program. This is the Ron Kelly Show, everybody, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, and also broadcasting live on Facebook, which I just trashed, and just about everybody on it, and on Facebook and YouTube. It's R. Kelly Radio on Instagram, and it's the Ron Kelly Show on TikTok. We'll be right back in a moment with more. It's the Ron Kelly Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
All right, everybody, the Ron Kelly Show. This portion of the Ron Kelly Show is being sponsored by Amaker and Porterfield Transportation for 40 plus years. Amaker and Porterfield Transportation has provided safe, reliable transportation to schools, businesses, churches, want to go on a field trip, medical transportation, you name it, they have it. Located in Plainfield, New Jersey, the firm of Amaker and Porterfield has been providing absolute safe and reliable transportation with courteous drivers and for other folks who attend. So give them a call. The information is right here. You can email them. It's amaker.porterfield at verizon.net. That's amaker.porterfield at verizon.net. You can give them a call, and I promise you they will respond to your needs, and they will make sure that you are satisfied. They will make sure that you are a satisfied customer. Okay, everybody, 22 minutes past the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com for my radio people, because they don't like Facebook for some reason, and not everybody's on Facebook, believe it or not. Not everybody is on Facebook, so shout out to them, those folks. So the school shooting, from what I understand, school shooting took place yesterday, in pretty bad shape. The family of the suspected school shooter says that he was bullied. His name was Timothy George Simpkins, 18 years old, and he has been bullied. Now, the cops down there are saying that they don't know why what the motive was. But they say that he was bullied, and this is the result of the bullying, where he went out and got a gun and came back into the school and shot the 4 people, I guess, who were bullying him. Now, they're saying that this video, there is video of him being attacked in the classroom. It's on social media right now, if you want to check it out. So shout out to Donnie Wilson, who texted me about this kid, Timothy George Simpkins, who and he was saying that they were pretty quick on identifying him, when in most of those cases, when there's other people who are involved in these things, that they don't usually show who people are. Now, folks, now what I'm hearing is that Mr. Simpkins' family has money, As a matter of fact, he's already out of jail. They posted $75,000 bond. So what I'm hearing is that Mr. Simpkins' family has money and that he was being bullied for him being wealthy. So the suspect school shooter, the family says that he was bullied for being because of his family's wealth. Now I don't know who the Simpkins are, but they're saying he was bullied because his people had money. And he had been robbed a few times. It wasn't just one person that would attack him and bully him, taking his money, harassing him because he had more things than others. So, now I'm not sure. I'll probably have to dig in just a little bit more to find out, just what kind of wealth did his family possess. But they're saying that his family has money, and that's why he was bullied by the other kids because he had money. School is tough. Yeah, I remember, Lincoln High School, Jersey City, where I attended, and school is tough, because there's a lot of pressure for kids in school these days. There's a lot of pressure. And there's a lot of pressure for kids these days in school. A lot of peer pressure. There's a lot goes on in a lot of these schools, and it's tough because there's so many laws, and you can't really touch a kid, and it's not like it used to be when I was going to school where the teacher would smack you or whatever. Well, not smack you, but the teacher would yoke you up or something like that. You can't do that anymore. You can't do that anymore. So, but schools, there's a lot that goes on in some of these schools. And even in that area, which was a well-to-do, kind of upper-class area where that school was located, even in those kind of classes, things happen. Kids are mean. These kids are mean. And so what happened was they're saying that he was bullied because his family had money. And they picked on him. Maybe he had a 3 Series BMW or whatever the case may be. I don't know what kind of car he had. But this is what's being reported on the news outlets. But schools are tough, and there's a lot of peer pressure in schools. You have young girls getting maybe doing things that they probably wouldn't or otherwise do, sex and some of the other stuff that goes on in school. So schools are rough. Maybe I'll have Mark come on to the program, his principal. It's on Facebook. Come on and talk about some of these things. But schools are tough. It's hard because a lot of things happen in school, and teachers are, they're handcuffed. They can't really do anything. And then you have these school resource officers, they call them. They're actually police officers who shouldn't be in school in the first place. Because there was a young girl who was killed last week by a school resource officer. Well, I'll get to that a little bit later if I can. It's 29 minutes past the hour. So yes, schools are rough. It's hard to go to school these days. There's a lot of pressure, and a lot of kids don't even really want to go to school. And again, because you're dealing with minors, everybody's hands are basically tied, and you can't really do anything about some of the things that happen in these schools, especially schools in the rougher urban type neighborhoods. And so there's a lot of peer pressure, and kids get in trouble and they do things they wouldn't ordinarily do because of the pressure of going to school in America these days. So I was asked why the shooter was revealed so quickly. First of all, he's 18 years old. Okay, now some of the other school shootings that took place with other folks, the kids were underage, and because the kid is a minor, even if he committed murder, you can't really put him out there because of the laws regarding identifying minors. But this kid is not a minor; he's 18 years old. So that could be one of the reasons, Donnie Wilson. That could be one of the reasons why they revealed who he was so fast. Because, when some people do stuff, and even people who are over 18, over the age of 18, they don't say nothing about certain people. I understand that. But I think that, this kid was revealed because he was over 18. Yeah, sad situation though. 4 people shot. Nobody died so far as I know. Correct me if I am incorrect. You can correct me. But as far as I know, nobody has been killed. Just shot, and one person is struggling to stay alive. Okay, it's 5:30, everybody. Man, these lights are like just blinding on me. But yeah, so and like I told you guys last week that the United States of America has no money. So when we put a budget, we're going to spend $3.5 trillion. That money's got to be borrowed. The United States of America doesn't have $3.5 trillion. And it's just like credit, Some people who have money don't have credit because they don't use credit. They just pay for everything. And the United States of America has never defaulted on its obligations in the history of this country, never. So there's a chance, well, I understand that they're trying to work together now to alleviate this problem. But the United States of America has no money. And people think that, when they put up a budget, we're going to spend $3.5 trillion. The United States of America does not have $3.5 trillion. But it's got credit. And so if the United States of America cannot pay its debts, it's going to have a worldwide ripple effect on everybody. So that's why it's so important that these politicians who are playing games with each other come across and raise the debt ceiling. See, because the debt ceiling was a mechanism that was put in place to try to stop, to limit the money that the United States can borrow. But it didn't work because they keep raising it. So it hasn't really stopped anything. And the United States just keeps borrowing money. And as the United States, as long as it pays its bills, it will be allowed to borrow until hell freezes over. So people think the United States have money. The United States has no money. Believe me, it has no money. Anyway, it's 34 minutes past the hour. Stomachache. So the United States doesn't have any money. All right. Okay, I'll take a quick break and I'll come right back with more of the program. I know I'm a little early. It's only 34 minutes past the hour. We'll take a quick break, come right back with more of this program. It's Ron Kelly Show. And it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, and on Facebook Live and YouTube. you will see me on all of those buildings. Maybe not so close together, but one of these days, and that's what makes me keep doing this radio show. Okay, everybody, welcome back. It's the Ron Kelly Show, broadcasting live on the Ron Kelly Show YouTube channel and on Facebook Live. Shout out to Suzanne Newman, who says, Ron, we've been broke for years. Absolutely. United States of America has no money. It's broke. I mean, I'm sure that it has some money, but the United States, I mean, look what happened with the post office. The post office has billions and billions and billions of dollars in debt. And even though the post office is not officially a part of the United States government, it's a subsidiary and an entity of the United States government. The post office has been broke for years and years, 50, 60, 80, $100 billion in the hole, the post office. And it's because of and part of it is because of the pensions. First, we're not charging enough is one thing, and then part of it is the pensions. Because there are thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of millions of people who are on pensions. And I says, I'm not saying that they don't deserve that. Of course they do. They work 20, 30 years. They deserve to get the pension, but that's what puts a lot of these entities in the hole. And the post office is way down, way. The post office couldn't be broke if they tried. And so the United States of America has no money. And I don't know why. I mean, people think that the United States has these, Fort Knox and all this stuff. No. When the United States of America puts forth a budget, the money has to be borrowed from somebody. As a matter of fact, China owns the United States of America. And they have loaned the United States billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. And then the interest. Now, can you imagine if you owe $27 trillion, what the interest is on that money? So this is why, because there's no way that the United States is going to just wipe out its debt. It's not going to happen. There's too much money, trillions and 20, 30 trillion dollars. Some of it contributed by Donald Trump giving all the corporations a break, which he probably had that all set up where, where the tax rate went down to 22%, something like that, going down from 38% to 22%. That's a lot of money, figuring that people who own these companies would turn around and invest in their company. They just kept the money. I'm not investing nothing. If I can get by with, I'm not hiring no people. If I can get by with, I can get by with less people, then I'm going to go ahead. Suzanne Newman says postal workers deserve more than so many other federal workers. Yeah, because, you're getting chased by dogs and and they get robbed sometimes, depending on what depending on where they have to work and some of the hoods, some of the worst hoods, they have to walk around and deliver the mail. I mean, now the mailboxes are outside, so the postal workers or the mail carriers don't have to go inside the buildings. The post boxes, the mailboxes are outside, so they don't have to go inside the building, because you don't want to go in the building and projects in Bed-Stuy talking about you delivering mail. Oh no! Hey, did anybody see that video last night? The video was on News 4 New York, where the lady just barely made it into her apartment, and the guy, just another second, if she didn't close that door, her old boy would have been inside her house. Just unbelievable. That's some scary stuff. And then the one girl, who wasn't a bad-looking chick either, who pushed the lady, tried to push the lady in front of the train, but she missed and pushed the lady into the train. Can you imagine just minding your business, just standing on the platform of New York City Transit, and you're just minding your business, and somebody just pushes you. So what happened is the crazy woman, she's only 29 years old, not a bad-looking chick. She wasn't dirty or, banged up or anything like that. And she pushed the lady into the train, but what she tried to do was to push the lady in front of the train. But her timing was off, and the lady went into the train, not in front of the train, which thank God that, the girl's timing was off, where she didn't push the lady. She didn't push the lady onto the tracks. Just unbelievable. There's a lot of, we talk about Obamacare and, and physical health, but there's a lot of crackpots walking around out here. There's a lot of crazy people out here. And some of them, and she looked like an average chick. I mean, there was nothing about her. I watched the video, and there was really nothing about her that raised any suspicion. She was just sitting in the train station waiting for the train like everybody else. Then she just got up and pushed this lady. And it's like I said, thank God that her timing was off, because she tried to push the lady in front of the train. No, I'm not saying that, Suzanne Newman. No, I'm not saying that. But usually when you see somebody in answer to Suzanne Newman, who's a regular participant in the Ron Kelly show, she didn't look. I mean, sometimes you can know if somebody's crazy or not. Well, I don't want to use the word crazy, but if somebody has mental issues, you can kind of tell, because they might be walking around, they might be talking to themselves, be disheveled or homeless or whatever the case may be. But she didn't look like that at all. She didn't look like that at all, and she just got up from her chair. And I guess it's a good thing she wasn't standing right next to the lady. It's a good thing she wasn't standing right next to the lady, because she would have got her, because she tried to push her in front of the train. So this woman, 29 years old, who has a mental issue, is going to go to jail for attempted murder. Somebody who probably shouldn't be in prison, but somebody who should be getting some mental health. And see, I mean, no disrespect to the clinicians and the psychologists, psychiatrists, clinical psychologists like Dr. Susanna Flores, people like that. I mean, no disrespect to them, but it's hard to, you can't. I don't know if there's enough medicine in the world that's going to make somebody who is going to make somebody who has mental issues, is going to make them all better. I mean, they do have medication for some, and they do have medication for some people, but it's and shout out to Nikki Totten, who says mental illness doesn't have a look. Is there right? Because you can be the person who, who's you say good morning to every day at work, who could be nuts, and you don't know until they come back with a Uzi and start lighting the place up. So mental health. There's a serious mental health problem in America today, and a lot of those people who are homeless have, and no disrespect to the homeless population in the United States, but many of them have mental issues, and that's something that we're not paying attention to. And people kind of turn a blind eye to folks who are mentally challenged, because there's really nothing that you can do. So she pushed her, and there's, like I said, there's a lot of crazy people. I was reading about a man, he's a young man, 25 years old, who got 160 years and then killing them. So I guess I just killed the internet for a lot of y'all who probably never going to meet anybody else again. But and he got 160 years, which is symbolic, because nobody's going to live 160 years. Maybe in the year 2521, they might have a way for people to continue on for a couple of 100 years, but right now it's not possible. And but that lady, she just made it into her door. I mean, I can't even say seconds, maybe 1 second. That lady just made it into her door. So good for her. So good for her. Good for her. I got a bait for lunch just now. All right, it's 14 minutes before the hour of 7 o'clock. Next week, the 14th of I believe it's the 14th of let me see if I can find it here. The 14th of October. I believe that's next Thursday. Right, 7 days from now. The 14th of October. Michael Cavalcanti is going to be my guest. Michael Cavalcanti, who is an author, and he's going to be on my show next week. One of Michael Cavalcanti's books is entitled "A Father's Double Life." A Father's Double Life. He's a published author. He's written several books. The Art of the Job Interview, How to Get a Man, Keep a Man, and Marry a Man. A Real Man, in no particular order, A Real Man's Perspective is another one of his books. How to Get a Man, Keep a Man, and Marry a Man in no particular order, A Real Man's Perspective, which is another one of his books. So we're going to pick a book and we'll focus on that book. Probably A Father's Double Life is the book we'll focus on. That book, Michael Cavalcanti says it's a true story and depicts the sexual molestation that he suffered at the hands of his father. And so you have to give him props for being courageous enough to my phone is in charge. You have to give him props for being courageous enough to write this book. So Michael Cavalcanti will be here October 14th, and we'll have a discussion about his books, one of his books. That's next Thursday, October 14th, 7 p.m. The Ron Kelly Show. My special guest, author Michael Cavalcanti. Okay, this portion of the Ron Kelly Show is brought to you by American Porterfield. American Porterfield Transportation. For 40 years, they have provided safe, reliable, courteous transportation for all your transportation needs, medical, schools, field trips, you name it, they can do it. So located in Plainfield, New Jersey, 360 Arlington Avenue, I believe it is. You can email them. You can call them, or you can email them. Amica.porterfield@verizon.net. It's amica.porterfield@verizon.net. You're listening to whatever the Ron Kelly Show on his own Blog Talk Radio.com for my radio people, the RonKellyShow.com, and on Facebook Live and on YouTube. So on Instagram, it's R. Kelly Radio, my handle, and on TikTok, it's the Ron Kelly Show. No, it might be R. Kelly Radio there too, I believe. TikTok, with the naked chicks. That's what TikTok is about. Nakedness. That's all you see. It's women bouncing around, with their, Have you ever been on YouTube? Either animals are getting eaten by other animals or women are bouncing around in bikinis. And it's funny that's that's your talent, is your boobs or your butt. That's your talent. So hey, it works for them. They get thousands and thousands of likes. So hey, it works for you. Why not? I mean, I know I wouldn't want my significant other to be bouncing around and bouncing her stuff around on TikTok. I mean, I wouldn't want that. I'd be like, look, no, you can't be doing that. But anyway, it's about 9 minutes before the hour. Shout out to my people over at Fume. I may go over there a little bit in a little while. It's possible. I may do it. I may not. Anyway, shout out to everybody who's watching the Ron Kelly Show. I appreciate every single one of you who checks me out. I can't see everybody who listens to the show, unfortunately, but I'll let you know I appreciate everybody who checks me out every Thursday, 7 p.m. on blogtalkradio.com. And I've been on a lot of radio stations, LA Radio, radio state in Miami. I've been, I used to go to there was a radio station in the basement of a church on Grove Street, and I'm talking about the desolate part of Grove Street, going down from Central Ave to South Orange Ave. That's like the stretch of death, because partly because there's a funeral. I mean, not a funeral, but there's a graveyard on the other side. So if anybody, pardon me, the people who don't live in this area, people who live across the country who check out the show, and I would go there, and it was like 3:00 in the morning, and I would go over there and do my radio show. I remember I was an intern at WWRL before they flipped their format, and I would go over there on Saturdays, and I used to sit with this radio personality. It was called Envy, and I used to stay in I would sit in the control room with her. I used to drive all the way to Queens. I drove all the way to Queens to I was an intern back then. I drove all the way to Queens to sit with this DJ, not DJ Envy, like the on High 97, but this chick, her name was Envy, something Envy, and I used to sit with her. So it's been a long road here. It's been a long road. Entering WWRL, I used to do the Ron Kelly Show. Used to air from WVOX way up in White Plains, Newburgh, New York, way up there above the Bronx. And I used to drive up. It took longer to get there than it did to do my show. WVOX 1460 AM, I believe it was. And I used to drive up there on Sundays to do my radio show. Shout out to Al B. Shaw, who I met in Miami when I went to the Urban Radio Convention in Miami, where I met Doug Banks, peace be upon him, who passed away, Doug Banks Show. I met him, Steve Harvey, Michael Baisden, Tom Joyner before he retired. And I asked Tom Joyner, I said, when are you going to retire? He says, never. And then he turns around and retires. So I knew that was a lie. But anyway, I got little tidbits from each one of them, all the big radio personalities I met. And Frankie Crocker's mother was there. And I would love to have met Frankie Crocker. Frankie Crocker started this whole radio personality thing, right? Frankie Crocker, before that, they were called disc jockeys. He just played music. They were insignificant. But Frankie Crocker turned that around. And that's how I started my career, behind Frankie Crocker. Frankie Crocker was the man. And yeah, he did the payola and he got paid to play some records. Okay. I don't excuse that, but he still was the man. Frankie Crocker. Frankie, it's him, my idol, Crocker. Anyway, but his mom was there. And I had a chance to meet Frankie Crocker's mom. So it's been a long journey now. I went to school for a year for radio and television. Shout out to my people. Connecticut School of Broadcasting in Hasbrook Heights. I went to school for a whole year. I had to pay for it. There was no school loans. I had to pay cash. This was 5 years ago. I went to school, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, to learn more about radio and television, broadcast journalism, what goes on behind the scenes. Because I felt like I needed to get some more training. So it's been a long road now. This isn't just some idea I just pop on. I'm trying to get somebody's attention. I'm trying to be popular. I am trying to be popular for reason, not just because I got issues. Not because I got issues with myself, William Patterson, shout out to my people. William Patterson and all the people who worked with me, who I mentioned last week. And William Patterson University, where Ron Kelly Show first started, at WPSC 88.7 FM, which it had the power of a Eveready battery. The Energizer, they don't even make Eveready no more. The Energizer Bunny, there was no power. There was no power. So I don't even know if the show traveled a mile, but we were there and we did our thing. All right, it's 4 minutes, it's 3 minutes before the hour, actually. I want to thank everybody for listening to me ramble on about my radio exploits. Shout out to Nikki Totten, Suzanne Newman, Sheila Johnson, and all the folks who all across America who listen to the Ron Kelly Show on the blogtalkradio.com, and the folks who partake of my nonsense every Thursday on the Ron Kelly Show. So shout out to everybody on Facebook. I mean, I know, like I said, I identify with the constant posting and stuff. I identify with that. Shout out to Ronald McCready. Appreciate you, my brother. It's a beautiful picture of you and your mom. You know, thank goodness, man. You're a lucky man and your mom is still here. You know, my mom has been gone about 14 years. But you're a lucky man, my brother. You're blessed. Shout out to Albert Vegas, says you deserve everything coming your way. Thank you, brother. And you know, Albert Vegas, DJ Tiny, you know how it is to be out here trying to struggle. You know, DJ Tiny, you know the struggle that we go through as artists, performers. You know, it's tough. Sometimes you think like nobody cares, and it's rough. It's rough. You know, I remember there were times where I just cut the show right there. Boom, whatever time it was, I didn't care. I just went off the air. There's times when that kind of stuff happens where you just feel like you're never going to make it, you know. But I got to keep pushing on because I know if I can get 10 of you, I can get 100. If I can get 100, I can get 1,000, so on and so forth. 5,000 followers on my Facebook page. Thank you so much to each and every one of them, more than 5,000. You know, yeah, Albert, you know how tough it is to try to make it in any business, you know, especially performance, be a DJ, radio personality, singer, whatever. You know, it's rough. You know, but you do it for the love of the game. Okay, everybody, it's about a minute left, so I want to thank you all for chiming in. Thank you for checking me out next week. Michael Cavalcanti, the author, will be here, and we'll have a discussion about one of his books. Yeah, we'll do that next week. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. We appreciate you. We'll see you back here next Thursday for another edition of Ron Kelly Show. Shout out to Jimmy Williams. Love you, man. Shout out to Albert Vega. Love you, brother. DJ Tiny, you can check him out. Last night, I believe it was, DWildmusicradio.com, as a matter of fact. DWildmusicradio.com. You check my boy DJ Tiny. I believe it's Wednesday. I always get it wrong. But check him out. Look for him Wednesday night. DWildmusicradio.com. Okay, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. We may not have it all together, but together we have it all. Thank you so much. I think I am done.